Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the National Health Council's Multi-Stakeholder Dialogue on Achieving Patient-Centered Core Impact Sets, or PC-CIS. We are excited that this day is finally here to discuss this important project with you and invite your views and input on the blueprint. I am the National Health Council's Chief Executive Officer, and I'm very pleased to be kicking off today's meeting. The PC-CIS Blueprint is a vital initiative for the National Health Council and has been 2 years in the making. We believe that this initiative will be a building block for a more patient-centered health ecosystem. The blueprint was co-developed by the National Health Council members and invited experts, and we will need your input to make the blueprint as useful as possible. We also hope that you will submit your comments on our webpage for the blueprint. The blueprint's public comment period runs through August 31st, and links to this page will be available in the chat. Now, to begin today's meeting, I will share brief information with you about the National Health Council for those of you that might not be familiar with our organization. The National Health Council was created by and for patient organizations more than 100 years ago. The National Health Council brings diverse organizations together to forge consensus and drive patient-centered health policy. We promote increased access to affordable, high-value, equitable, sustainable health care. More than 145 national health-related organizations and businesses make up the National Health Council's membership, including, at our core, the nation's leading patient organizations. Other members include health-related associations and nonprofit organizations, including the provider, research, family caregiver communities, and businesses representing biopharmaceutical, device, diagnostic, generic, and payer organizations. If your organization is not currently a National Health Council member and you'd like to explore membership, then please share contact information and any questions that you might have in the chat, and we'll follow up. But next, it's my sincere pleasure to introduce our two amazing co-chairs for this meeting. Ms. Annie Kennedy is Chief of Policy Advocacy and Patient Engagement at Every Life Foundation for Rare Diseases, focused on improving health outcomes for people living with rare diseases by advancing the development of treatment and diagnostic opportunities for rare disease patients through science-driven policies. Annie's work includes building strong partnerships with policymakers, federal agencies, industry, and alliances. Dr. Leonard Valentino is President and Chief Executive Officer at the National Hemophilia Foundation. Dr. Valentino is an experienced translational hematologist with a demonstrated history of strategic development, working in academia for over 30 years, the biotechnology industry, and fundraising in the non-for-profit sector. Dr. Valentino has treated families with bleeding disorders, working towards finding better treatments for patients and preventing complications for their disorders through education, advocacy, and research. We could not have been in better hands with these two co-chairs, and I know you'll enjoy hearing from them today. So thank you, Annie and Len, for your leadership with this initiative and the movement to ensure that healthcare is truly patient-centered and focused on what matters to patients as expressed by patients. So now I'm delighted to turn over the program to my esteemed colleague, Dr. Omar Escontrias, the National Health Council's Vice President of Research, Education, and Programs. Omar, take it away.
Thank you, Randy, and welcome to today's dialogue. I joined the National Health Council a few months ago, and I bring about 15 years of public health expertise in the areas of community and patient engagement, coalition building, health policy, and evidence-based research. I am excited to lead the organization's efforts to advance our patient engagement and centricity research and ensure that the voice of diverse patients are heard and their needs are met. At this juncture in our healthcare system, we are well positioned to address various challenges regarding health conditions and treatments impacting patients, their families, and caregivers. A patient-centered core impact set is a valuable solution to prioritizing the list of impacts that are either both short and long-term that are also vital to improving health outcomes. I would like to now introduce two consultant experts that have been working with the National Health Council on this initiative and will be moderating several other sessions today. Dr. Eleanor Perfetto, a professor at the University of Maryland School of Pharmacy in Baltimore, Maryland, and the former Executive Vice President of Strategic Initiatives at the National Health Council, and Ms. Sue Schrant, who is a patient herself and the founder and CEO of Expect. I would also like to acknowledge that this initiative could not be possible without our sponsors through phase 1 and phase 2 of the blueprint. So our phase 1 sponsors, I would like to acknowledge the Every Life Foundation for Rare Diseases and the Innovation and Value Initiative. Our phase 2 sponsors, we include Amgen, Edwards Life Sciences, Johnson & Johnson, Merck, Novartis, Pharma, Takeda, and the Research Consortium for Healthcare Value Assessment. We are also incredibly thankful for the Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Institute, also known as PCORI, for awarding the National Health Council the Eugene Washington Award that allows this opportunity to hold a dialogue today. We would also like to thank our planning committee. Not all of them could be here with us today, but they all have been involved in the project from the onset, and they have been the greatest champions in this cause. So that we have, of course, Annie Kennedy from Every Life Foundation for Rare Diseases, Dr. Leonard Valentino, President and CEO of the National Hemophilia Foundation, Jennifer Bright, the Chief Engagement Strategy Officer for Innovation and Value Initiative, Orna Elric, Vice President of Strategic Impact for Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, Anna Hyde, Vice President for Advocacy and Access of the Arthritis Foundation, and also Larry Lassiter, Dr. Larry Lassiter, and Dr. Samantha Doherty from Pharma. So thank you very much for all your support. It is my hope that you will become as excited about the Patient-Centered Core Impact Set initiative as I am, and that you will contribute your thoughts and ideas to today's productive dialogue. Thank you for making the time for this important work. I would now like to turn it over to our co-chairs, Annie Kennedy and Dr. Len Valentino, to review some housekeeping items, the agenda, and the dialogue of objectives. So here's to a productive meeting, and Len, I will pass it on to you.
Thank you, Omar. You can view our important housekeeping items on this slide here. Let me highlight a couple important things for you to note. All sessions at this meeting will be recorded. During sessions, everyone except the speakers will be on mute. If you have any questions for speakers, please use the Q&A function. But if you would like to just make a general comment, please use the chat function. If you have any questions about technical issues, please email nhcmeetings@nhccouncil.org. We will have poll questions throughout the meeting that will pop up on your Zoom screen. Please participate if you can. Finally, we'll have an evaluation at the end of the meeting. Please participate if you can, since the information from these evaluations is very important to the National Health Council. We will now review our agenda for today. We will hear about the rationale and use for the PC-CIS Blueprint, use cases, hear from 3 different stakeholder perspective panels, then wrap up the day with a reactor panel. Now I'd like to turn it over to Annie.
Thanks so much, Len. So I just took a moment to scan through who's here today, and just want to say that I'm really thrilled to have the opportunity to be here with everyone today. It's really reflective of what this effort is about. It's about coming together as a community to ensure that patient experience is reflected all throughout our ecosystem and the development of products that ultimately will impact the outcomes of our communities. So I'm going to just go through some of the objectives for today, but most importantly, the objective was to come together to make sure that the output of this effort is reflective of all of us as an ecosystem of stakeholders. So the first mission is accomplished. We're here, so thank you. So the first is that we're going to disseminate information to the targeted stakeholders about the patient-centered core impact sets, or the PC-CIS, the blueprint, and the supporting toolbox. We want to listen to and gather from the prospective users views and strengths of potential challenges to the PC-CIS development and use and blueprint operationalization. We want to provide opportunities for public comment and reflect on ensuring that the public comment period receives input from our community stakeholders. and multi-stakeholder dialogue on PCCIS to further refine the concept and improve the blueprint, and to help encourage attendee and others' comments to the National Health Council as a part of the public comment process. And just as a reminder, we're really in the middle of a 30-day comment period. And to release the PC-CIS documents refined post-convening, informed by the meeting dialogue, that are incorporated into an updated PC-CIS communications and dissemination plan. So those are the objectives of today, which I'm confident we'll be able to achieve.